We are live.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. I'm the only one that's absent in your intro.
Welcome, everyone, to today's episode of our Go Live program, which we normally do every Thursday at 5 p.m. UK time. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever your location may be at this moment. I'm your host for today. And if today is your first time of watching us, this is a business discussion we normally do every Thursday. And today we are looking at cybersecurity for digital entrepreneurs. We are excited to have our special guest, Femi from Canada, who is going to help us break down the essentials. We also have our four co-hosts, Daisy, Chital, Yukai, and Oidis, each bringing a unique perspective to the table. Let me introduce myself before we start. Yes, my name is Henry. I am a Nigerian living in the United Kingdom. I am a father, a husband, a Christian, and a corporate worker working for the railway. And I am a digital business owner. Before we start, can each co host give us a brief introduction of yourselves, please? We start with
Hello, I'll go
Daisy.
first. Thank you, Brother Henry. Thank you, everyone, for coming on today for our live session. So, yes, and good afternoon or good morning, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. I'm super excited again to be here, as always, going live. It's so amazing, right? So I'm Daisy. I'm Irish by choice. I'm Filipino by heart. I'm a mom of three and a former pastry chef. I'm a business coach or a strategist in our community, and I'm a mentor and a very proud digital business owner. So I started this business because I want to make I wanted more time for my family and a better way to earn from home. So today I get to run a flexible business that allows me to be present for my kids, attending their school events, driving them to sports, and still growing something for our future. So that's about me. Back to you, Brother Henry.
Yeah, over to Sister Shita.
Hello everyone. Namaste, namaskar, and vanakkam to all of you. My name is Sheetal. I am a proud child of God. I'm a mother of three amazing young boys, an educator by profession, and now a proud digital business owner and a mentor. I am from Mumbai, India, and currently living in Abu Dhabi, UAE with my family. I was looking for more time with my kids, having some good financial backup for my children's university education, and here I am. Here, that is when I found this amazing digital business, and I am proud to call myself as a teacherpreneur, as I'm doing this business as my plan B along with my teaching job. Thank you, Brother Henry.
Yeah, welcome. Sister Yukai, please.
Hi, viewers. My name is Eukai. I'm proudly Zimbabwean. I'm currently in Ireland together with my family. I'm a nurse for the meantime, whilst I'm still establishing things in my business. But my dream is to retire early and work from home. So I've started this business. This is my 13th month and I'm enjoying it so far. I was sick and tired of endless shifts, no family time, no rest until I found this business. Now I'm doing only my normal working hours, and the rest of the hours I'm with my family and doing business. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Sister Oidis.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Brother Henry, for hosting. I'm super excited. My name is Ordis. I live here in Norway. I was also born here, but my parents are Filipino and I'm married to a Filipino. I have three kids. They are 13, 7, and 5. I'm a healthcare worker and a proud digital business owner. I found this digital business because I was looking for more time with my family because both my husband and I work as a healthcare worker, so it's like 2 long hours and weekends and everything. So we wanted more time, and I plan to retire early, hopefully soon. And yeah, that's me.
Thank you very much. You see, that is one advantage of this digital business. We are all from a different continent. It's like we are in the same place. The world has become very small. So our guest, Brafemi, please can you introduce yourself? Give us a brief introduction of yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Femi, and originally from Nigeria. I live in Canada for some years now, and I'm a father of two adults. And I used to work in the oil and gas industry for over 25 years as a directional driller, and I used to work away from home on the rigs. And over time, I got tired of it because I loved the job and I loved the income that was coming from it, but I didn't like the fact that I was staying away from my family. And like I was discussing with Harry sometime last week. That was it. I mean, like throughout my career period, there was never a time I was home for 6 weeks or 2 months, in a row. I was always away. And after 27 years of marriage, and I realized that marriage wasn't meant to be that way. I thought it was time I threw in my towel, and then I embraced the digital work. So right now, this is all I do for myself. Thank you.
Wow, what an amazing opportunity. You can see every one of us, we have different reasons, we have different whys why we started this business. And the majority of us is because of time with the family, spend quality time with the family. And it's very important because the world we live today, the life we live today is so short. We have to spend time with the family. And this opportunity came and everybody embraced it. Thank you very much, each and everyone, for the introduction. Let's dive in into today's chapter, today's episode. The first question for our guest, see, why is cybersecurity a critical concern for digital entrepreneurs?
Thank you very much for having me, Brother Henry. And cybersecurity is not just relevant to digital entrepreneurs. It's something that's very, very relevant in the day that we live in today. First of all, uh, the concept of cybersecurity is to help, ensuring that people don't have access. People that are not granted permission don't have access to information or assets, that belong to you, right? Because having access to it can either get them destroy the access or either sell even the data that you have. Some of these data sometimes they could be proprietary information, and there could be data of your customers or clients. And if you live in a country like Europe, where you have something like GDPR, which is the general data um, uh, regulations, then that if you lose data, if you lose a customer data that falls under the European uh, government body, then you may be liable to some fines. You know, and well, it's so obvious that most times cybersecurity does not really bring about money. It's not a product that industries are so interested in because it makes them money. As like you have oil, when you sell oil you make money from, or maybe you are in the healthcare, you sell your medical products and you make money. But then it has come to stay because of the exposure to the internet these days, right? Everybody has something to do on the internet. Everybody has something to do on the network. When you are in the hospital, you have data, sensitive data of patients. I mean, like, and those data, they have a network that they go through, because a patient may see five doctors, may see different people in the course of a stay in the hospital, for instance. I'm just using that as an example, right? And in the course of staying in the hospital and going through all that, there's a possibility, that within the movement of the data of a client from one person to the other, or from one department to the other, that the data could be compromised. And that's what you are trying to avoid here, because you could be sued. The hospital could be sued. Hospitals have been fined greatly for losing patients' data. And not only that, the danger to the life of the data, to the life of the age of the patient. Imagine a patient that wants to go through a surgery, and maybe some scans have already been provided and sent through the network to the surgeon that's going to operate on the person, and he cannot have access to it at the point where he needs it the most. So you can see people can really die because of their data has been compromised. So these are some of the reasons um, why cybersecurity is so important. And with regards to the online businesses, you know, like you can't overemphasize it. You can't overemphasize the importance of this to us, because like we always deal online, we post online, we advertise online, we do so many things online, and we don't want to lose the data of the customers that we have online. We don't want our businesses, to stop running because somebody has 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 introduced what you may call a DOS, which is distributed out of service, right? Like when they try to make your service, they render your service unavailable to the client that you want to get it to. Like imagine you wanted to buy something from Amazon, and the Amazon site is down because it's been hacked. You know, something like that happened. Like when Elon Musk was having an interview with President Trump. Sometime last year, just before the election, and at the point in time, like there was an attack on the system, and a lot of people couldn't get in, so they didn't start at the right time. So this is one of the reasons why it's very important. But in the course of our discussion, we may be able to narrow it down further onto how it affects every aspect of our business. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Femi, for that explanation. Really, cybersecurity is very, very important to our business. So very important, not only to our business, for everyone. So long we live on this cybersecurity is very, very important. Like I said earlier, we're able to connect because of the internet. We are from different continents, but if it is hacked, if our system is hacked, any of our system, we cannot be able to connect. We cannot connect with anyone. Thank you, Brother Femi, for that explanation. The next question, Sister Daisy, can you go for that, please?
All right, sorry, I unmute myself there. So yes, let's go to our next question for you, Brother Femi. So, what are the most common cybersecurity threats that digital entrepreneurs face, and how can they stay protected?
All right. Let me give you a typical example. The one that I see every now and then, I run a Facebook advert. Have you ever noticed, has anyone ever noticed there, once you start running Facebook advert, you see all kinds of messages that you are violating Facebook, the community rules and all that. And then, like they're going to kind of like maybe shut down your account and all that. I don't know if you have seen it before. I see it every day. And I don't only see one every day. I see like 5 every day. And then for a lot of people, some people may make a mistake and just click whatever it is that is sent to them. And that's where the problem starts. Because all those links that they give to you to click, once you click them, it takes you somewhere else. Once you click them, it could extract some information that you don't want to give out, that may give them the opportunity to be able to have access to your Facebook account. And that's how people's accounts are compromised. And then you have it in several other ways. So you have things like phishing, like when they send you um, links to click on that could redirect you somewhere. I mean, like you have things like um, I mean, I'm trying not to use some very serious words now, like evil twin. Evil twin happens to people that are very used to, taking advantage of free Wi-Fi. Like you go to a coffee shop, for instance, and there's a free Wi-Fi, and you hop like you hop onto that Wi-Fi. Most of the time, like if a bad guy wants to do something, like he may bring his own system too within that area. It may actually even be within the facility of the coffee shop. It could even be a staff of the coffee shop. You know, I mean, you can't in cybersecurity, you can't trust anyone, right? So, uh, so like what happens is that, and they even make those signals, their own signals, even stronger than the ones that's genuine. So you discover that there, and like a lot of times, right, when people sit down there and they are working on some stuff, right, that's when they are checking their bank accounts. That's when they are doing some things that are important to them that maybe they probably won't have time to do when they're in the office, right? So that's like an evil twin, right? I mean, because it's like a twin because it's trying to replicate the real guy, but it's evil because it's not doing it legally and it's trying to steal your data. And it does that. And so that's why I always tell people, and that's one of the things that people have to be conscious of, right? To ensure that you don't use those free Wi-Fi's, as tempting as they could be at the airports. People tend to want to use some of those things and they get in trouble. And then some other things that we see is that people use very, very, very weak passwords. Passwords that can easily be guessed, like using your birthdays, using the names of your children, like using your name and name of your husband, using password 123, and these are, you see, like there's some that they call the password diary, a dictionary, where there are list of some very, very obvious passwords that these guys can use, and there are some softwares also, that can be used to hack some of those passwords that easily could break into your system. And this is one of the reasons why we say, okay, when people are going to have passwords, they should make their password strong. If you were in an establishment, right, you will have what they call password password complex um, policies, right? Where you have to where there will be a policy on what kind of passwords that you can have, how you write your passwords. Some will tell you your password should not be less than 12 letters and words and some characters combined, and they will tell you this password must be changed every 3 months. And they will tell you that you can't use this password, until maybe after about a certain amount of days. You understand? And all these things are done just to ensure that they keep you, from harm. Because most times, right, why most industries are very concerned about these things, because like most times, right, the individuals, the human beings at the weakest, right, like in the chain. But when it comes to the weak part of the chain, right, they're the weakest connection. And the reason for that is because most of the time there's lack of awareness by people. So the first thing that we want to do is the things that are easy for us and things that are free. And that's why people are easily lured into this. Sometimes there's what is called phishing, when people call you and they tell you that, okay, maybe your social security has been compromised. If you doubt it or whatever, maybe you press one, and then you press one, and then you run into trouble, and all those things. So, like, the thing is, like, we just have to be security conscious, whether we are home or whether we are at work, wherever we are. one of the most important thing, that helps us to minimize the impact of these hackers on us is the awareness of security. You see, like the security companies don't say, or businesses don't say that one would not be hacked, because it's very difficult not to be hacked. These guys are working overtime. They are moving steps ahead of you. And there are different kinds of hackers for different kinds of purposes, right? But what we try to do most of the time is to minimize the impact that they will have on us should they succeed. So I hope that answers your question so far.
Wow.
Wow.
Thank you, brother Femi. Yeah, very informative. And yeah, I can totally understand. Like you said, people click the link as fast without even thinking, right?
Mhm.
Um, my families now, I would advise them to be careful because I know a lot of people that I know that they got hacked because, they got this link and they just go ahead and click it. So it's not as safe enough, right? So anyway, I won't add more information of that because you have said everything. So let's go to the next question to this Yukai.
Thank you so much. I need to revisit my passwords. All right. So my
But
question is,
some of you write passwords on paper. Some people, because almost everything now you write, like you have a passport for, so it's a lot. So people write passwords on papers and they leave in their drawers or they stick it somewhere, you know. But even at the airport, you could be typing your password in and somebody is looking over your shoulder, and that's why sometimes, not just password, every other thing that you do, that's why sometimes people have protective screens that show kind of like dark, when you're not the one like in direct focus of it, right? So that people don't really see what you do. You just have to protect yourself. There's so many things out there.
we are learning today. Thank you so much, Brother Femi.
You're
My
welcome.
question is, how can small digital business owners protect themselves on a budget?
Well, like like when I started up, I said that cybersecurity does not really make money for you. But one thing that I didn't say, which I'm going to say now, is that but it prevents you from spending money that will have drained you. Sometime in 2013, uh, Target. I think we're all familiar with Target, right? Okay, you don't live in North America, so you may not know Target. Target is just a big store, just like you have Walmart, and so like they had to pay the government for some violations, which was not necessarily. Uh, I won't say it's their fault, and I won't say it's not their fault. You know, uh, I mean, like they had to pay some millions of dollars, for some of those violations, because there are laws, everywhere. There are laws and there are regulations everywhere. So, like some of those regulations, right? If you breach them, if you are caught, you pay. Like whether or not it was your fault, you pay. It's just that the amount you pay may differ when they carry out some forensics and discover whether or not you did the right thing, the things that you're supposed to have put in place, you put them in place, and despite all of that, this guy's still broken. Then in that case, you probably don't have to pay that much. But otherwise, you pay. So, like when you look tunes of millions of dollars, that you are paying some people, that is besides the class action that the individuals whose cards were compromised. Because I think, if I remember very well, over 40,000 cards were compromised. If I remember very well. So, like, it's a huge blow on a company. So, so you can imagine that. And you know what caused that? It wasn't caused directly by Target itself. It was a third party that works with Target, that had access to Target, that was breached, and through that they were able to get into Target. So, like, security is everybody's business. It's your business. It's the business of the person that is running business with you, because because whether you like it or not, if that person gets compromised, you probably will be compromised and you'll be in trouble. And that's why it's very important. Sometimes people may think that this business we run is such a small one. Why would all these guys come after me? But you have them in different scales as well. You have the ones that are after the small ones, you have the ones that are after the big fish, and you have the ones that are after the states, like the government, like when they want to cause trouble in another country. We all hear people talk about China, 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 Russia. We know them for things like this, and all that stuff, right? So, but for yourself, the simplest thing that you can do for yourself, first of all, is to have awareness, right? Then, second thing that you can do for yourself is to fortify yourself by having antivirus. You have computers, then by all means, get yourself an antivirus. It may not save you 100%, but at least it helps you. You see, like there's some attacks that they call the 0 day. They are called 0 day because there's not enough time. There's no time for the manufacturers, or maybe, like for instance, now if you run an app, right, and that app has a vulnerability or has a deficiency that the designers of the app have not seen, and they've not sent out any I'm like, they've not sent out softwares and whatsoever, just to make sure that that is updated to prevent that being attacked. But some of these bad guys may be the first set of people that may recognize that there's a loophole in the app that this guy has, and before the design, like the people that runs the app, right, the vendors, before they're able to to be able to get something out to prevent that loophole to be taken advantage of, this guys strike. So that's called 0 day. So you can imagine if these guys are so persistent, that they can get into a system even before the people that design the system realize that they have such vulnerabilities, then that shows how important it is for you to want to protect yourself. So by all means, you get yourself antivirus. By all means, like we said earlier on, educate yourself. By all means, make sure you have passwords that are strong. The longer passwords are, even if they are without the characters, like people always ask you to, the longer they are, the longer it takes for them to be able to be compromised. The shorter your passwords are, the easily it is for you to be compromised. But like I will always advise people to always have a complex password that includes letters, both capital and small letters, figures, and you have what they call it as well. You have those characters. I'm one or two of those characters. I mean, that will really help you with doing this. And then regularly update your system. Like when you, for those of you that use iPhones, right? I use iPhone, right? So oftentimes, right, they just tell you there's an update. An update is not a fancy thing. An update is to protect you, because they probably have seen something and they are updating. Just like most times, if you take a time to read just the introduction of the update, you will see the importance of the update, and then you will know whether or not it's something that you want to do or you don't want to do. I know people always say that they don't want to update because when they update, they have problems. They have problems. It has happened to me before as well. I've updated my iPhone. I can't remember what OS that just came in then, and immediately I updated it, and then my phone was locked out. I couldn't access it. I had to go to Apple Store, for them to be able to do something about it. So some people will wait some time. Even the establishments, like that have cybersecurity systems and people, right? They always have a place, a place where they can try this update before they roll it out into their systems. Because if they roll it out into their systems and then that update is having a problem, then all their problems, I mean, then all their systems may be shut down at that point in time, right? And they will not be available for their clients or for the purpose for which they to use it. But in our case, we don't have such. So what we may just do is maybe wait a short time and then we update. But it's always very important to run your updates, particularly your computers. That's very, very important.
Wow.
Another thing do I want to say to answer this your question? Okay,
Wow.
I've talked about not using free Wi-Fi
Mm.
in hotels, and then I don't know, like in most homes we have Wi-Fi's, right? Like our Wi-Fi's, right? They have identification, right?
Mm.
So like the providers always send us with an identification. You know that almost anything that you buy has a username and probably has a password as well, right? Even for the manufacturer. But those things that come from manufacturer, they call them default usernames and passwords. They are on internet. They can be gotten by anybody. So if you buy a router, for instance, and then you don't change the username that is on it and change the password, if somebody is driving down your street and the person is able to pick that you have this Wi-Fi here, because your Wi-Fi broadcasts to everyone its name, right? There are some people that actually do that. They drive around streets, looking for which which Wi-Fi are available, you know. And then if your Wi-Fi is available, they can see the name of a Wi-Fi. That's one thing. And then if they recognize that this name is the default name, then of course it's most likely that it still has the default password. It can be accessed. So if like imagine if like if the router in your house or the Wi-Fi in your house is accessed by these bad guys, and that means that every other thing in your house that's connected to that network is not safe. And the house is where we think that it is good enough so that we can do all our other businesses and all that. But then, so like we have to be very careful of that. There's so many things that I want us to consider. The people that you give your the people that you're allowed to go on your Wi-Fi when they come to your home. And that's why they say always have guest account the Wi-Fi so that they're not on the main account that you use. And the
Mm.
reason for that is that not that you don't trust your your friends or your families that come to your house and use your Wi-Fi, but then the thing is that you don't know whether their system has been compromised. So if
Mm.
their system has been compromised, and then they come and then they connect to your system, then you are probably giving them further room to go.
Mm.
So
Oh,
that's where I think.
thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you so, so much. Sis Oidis, go ahead.
Yeah.
You're
You're
muted, sis.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's see. Many people fear cybersecurity because they lack technical knowledge. How can they navigate it without being overwhelmed?
I mean, like, you see, most times, right, most of those things that you need are done for you, at least at this level. For instance, our websites are built with guys that have experience and they do all the things that are required. In most cases, right, it's just the basic awareness that we have to do. You know, basic awareness that requires that you don't just trust anything that you see. You don't just say, okay, because this seems like it is true. You want to trust it. Like in the past, somebody can send you a phishing mail, and then you can know easily that it's phishing mail, maybe because of the way the mail is written, the grammar, the spellings, and all those errors. But in this day and age with AI, this bad guy they construct very good, very good phishing emails with AI, and you will know. You will know. So, like, I mean, like, what's most important? And this is one thing, like, no matter how much money you spend to secure yourself, if the awareness is not there, then you have a problem. So, like, I would say that one of the most important things for you is just the awareness. And then, you have the awareness, you back up your data. We're saying this behind the scene before we started, right? Backing up your data. You know, I mean, like imagine. I don't know. I don't know what example I can give now. Um, well, backing up your data anyway. That's very important because it's only the data that you have that you can use. If you don't have access to that data, you can't use it. So if your computer crashes just on its own, you know, and you don't have a backup, then you're in trouble. And then your business is going to suffer because you need all those information that you have on your computer, and vice versa. So I mean that's just it. I know that time is fast spent now, so I mean it's quite a vast topic, right? So it's a bit difficult to. Thank you very much. I hope I answer your question, Sister Odis. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother Femi. That was a really like good information that we are learning. I still feel that I am still in the kindergarten level learning all of these things. Although we learn from our business. Thank you so much for sharing these detailed information. So my question to you is, what role does cybersecurity play in building customers' trust?
It's very important, all right? You know, yesterday, I mean, there's this prayer platform in Nigeria that I follow daily. And there was a lady that gave a testimony yesterday. She came from the US to give a testimony. And the testimony was that her younger sister, who was dealing in some kind of oil business, needed some funds to be able to procure some products, to deliver to some other people, for in order for her to be able to complete a transaction. Unfortunately, the money involved was so much that she couldn't afford everything. So she sought assistance from her bank. So all the money put together was about 170 something thousand dollars. And then there was this back and forth communication between herself and the bank. Sorry, between herself and the business. And little did she know that the conversation had been hijacked by these bad guys. So they got into the middle of the conversation, not physically, but you know, behind the scene, electronically, technologically, they got behind the scene, and then neither she didn't know, the company that she was talking to didn't know. So they got the information, as though like this were done on by email back and forth, right? So when the information is sent, they intercept the information, right? And then so they know what she's requesting, and then they send information to the client, so they understand exactly what's going on between two of them, right? You know, so at a point in time, like since they were in between, right, they were able to receive. I mean, like when it was time for the lady to make payment, I mean, like to send what they call it now, to send the telex, for the transfer of funds. Since they're already in the middle, they just got that information from her and they sent their own details. So when she made payment, the payment didn't go to the company. The payment didn't go to the company that was supposed to be closing the deal with her. And she didn't know until when they started calling and asking, what happened? We have not received your payment and all that. And then the bank said, but that we have released the funds. But fortunately, I think one of the banks that was in the intermediary that was involved in transfer of funds didn't really understand the account details that this bad guy sent. So they delayed the transfer. That was how she was able to get our funds. So what am I saying, right? We're looking at customers' trust. If the customer feels that you're not protected, then that means that they stand a chance to lose. They can lose money through you. They can lose their data through you. But one thing that we have for us is that most of the things that we do on our website, right? If you go to our website, you see that it's HTTPS, right? It means it's secured, right? If you see a website that's HTTP without the S, of course, it will tell you that it's not secure to start with anyway, so you don't have to do anything there. But some people don't know the essence of all those things, and then they still go ahead anyway. So like if somebody is able to get between you and maybe your prospect, for instance, and maybe take money from that person and it's not you. That's one of the major things that cybersecurity, tries to avoid. It tries to avoid um, that that trust. That breach of trust. I mean, something that has to do with your integrity. Like you don't want to lose that before your client. So it's not just about having to pay a ransom, or it's not just about having to pay penalties to the government, but your reputation matters, because once that reputation is gone, your business is gone. Nobody wants to do business with you anymore. And if that person is somebody that has the time, he can make sure that he tells everybody that this was what this person did to me and all that. So reputation is very important, and that's one of the things that, our consciousness of cybersecurity, our awareness of what can go wrong, that will help us, raise our antenna to be sure that we check everything that we're doing. I mean, uh, like you don't want filling somebody's form that has something to do with his credit card or whatever. I mean, if you don't have security to protect those forms, and all that, because if something happens to that person's card, then you probably will be in trouble. So these are all these little things that one has to be careful with. So
Wow, thank you very much, Femi. And it was a great. We are learning.
we are all
Cybersecurity is
learning
very, very
every day.
important. Like my place of work, every month, the IT company they will send you an email, a phishing email, to see if you are conscious. If you
A
click on
bait to see
anything,
if we fall for it.
they will tell you fail the test. You have to go for training, cybersecurity training. They will send you a course where you have to do. After that, they will try you again. So it's very, very important so that the data will be kept. Thank you once again for elaborating, explaining to us the importance of cybersecurity. Before we go to the call to action, can you just tell our viewers just one thing that they should bear in mind when doing their business? Well, as we are businessmen online, as we do digital business, anything we are doing, can you just give them one advice, just one word? So, this is what you have to be careful about.
For me, I think it's the culture. That culture, encompasses every other thing. The culture of security, in all that we do, like we just have to be conscious, so that whenever we have to do something, we have to think it through to be sure that there's no exposure to data, there's no exposure to uh, to uh, to um, to systems, there's no exposure, not just to funds alone, you know, uh, because anything that's of value, it's worth uh, being protected. So you just want to make sure that you protect whatever it is that's of value to you within your business. I mean, like we know what it is like. I don't know if anybody ever experienced before running adverts on Facebook and everything's doing well, and then you get shut down. Not just your advert. If your advert gets shut down, you can do another advert. But what if your page gets shut down? For that period of time, like you don't have a business, right? So I mean, like when you think about things like that, then security becomes important, because you don't want anything that is going to shut down your system. I'm not saying that the Facebook is shutting down your page because of security, but I'm just using that to buttress the extent to which our negligence can cause us. It can cost us our business, and our business is our livelihood. Some of us left our jobs for the business, which is the most important thing for us now. So it's a livelihood. So we just have to have that consciousness. We just have to develop that culture of security consciousness, you to ensure
Wow.
that we don't
Thank you
get
very much.
unnecessarily exposed.
Okay. Consciousness. We have to be conscious. That is
Yeah.
very, very important. We, the host and the viewers, consciousness is very, very important in anything we do. Even when if you are not a digital business owner, be conscious of whatever you do. Thank you very much once again, Femi. Before we go to the call to action, Mr. Daisy, can we recognize our audience, please? Our audiences.
You're on mute, Daisy.
Sorry about that. Okay. Thank you, sis, you guys, for letting me know. So yes, before we say our last words for today's session, let's take a moment to acknowledge our viewers. We have 4 likes and loves here so far. Um, yeah, so on behalf of our entire team, thank you so much for being here today with us. Whether you're here joining us for the first time or you've been with us for a while, you've been with, we are beyond grateful for your time and your energy. So yes, your support means everything for us. If you're watching live, drop live in the comments, and so we can see who's with us today. And if you're catching the replay, type replay so we can connect with you later. So we'd also love to know where you're tuning in from. So drop your location in the comments and let's see how far our community stretches. So yeah, so far, Brother Henry, there's no comments left. So hopefully, when people watch the replay, they will. So I'll pass the floor over back to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching and watching the replay. Call to action. Cybersecurity should be a priority, not a burden. Start by
Mhm.
securing your password, as we have heard from Brafemi, enabling multi-factor authentication, and using trusted platforms to keep your digital business safe, like our platform, which is safe.
Mhm.
When you are there, everybody is safe. So we have to be conscious. Adesi, can you go for the next one, please?
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, brother. So, yes, don't let cybersecurity fears stop you from launching your business, right? User friendly tools and automated security systems are designed to protect entrepreneurs, right? So, take the leap with confidence. Sis Yukai?
Wow. Take home message. Don't wait up to tomorrow. Do the necessary changes. Your passwords, two-factor authentication, everything that you had, just to put it into practical. Thank you.
Yes.
Shital?
Yes. So stay protective, proactive. I mean to say, stay proactive. Cyber threats evolve, but so do security solutions. Regularly update your systems and stay informed to keep your business one step ahead. We all need to take that step to keep ourselves in the online space as we are all working in the online space. So let's take the step ahead. Yes, Brother Henry.
Yes. Remember, cybersecurity is a continuous journey. Don't stop at the basics. Implement backups, as we have heard, monitor threats, and adapt to new technologies for long-term success. Success in digital business starts with security and confidence. You must be confident and be security conscious, as we have heard from our guest. Take action today, secure your platform, and focus on growing your business without fear. Embrace cybersecurity as a tool for growth rather than a challenge. If this resonates well with you, check out our websites, as you can see behind our pictures, behind our photos, and sign up to enable you to become a member of our great community. We invite you to our free webinar, which is every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 a.m. UK and Ireland time. Check your time zone so that you will not miss out. Thank you all once again for coming. Thank you, the co-host. Thank you, our guests. We really appreciate your presence, for accepting our invitation. We are more than grateful. Thank you all.
Thank you for having me.
And that's it for today.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.